Hey guys, Jeepers Animations here, back again with another video, and in this video it is finally time for my 400 subscriber special. This will be part 1 of my 400 subscriber special. I'm doing several parts to this, mainly because due to technical issues I could not have uploaded my 400 subscriber special when I wanted to, so I'm going to be doing it this way instead. Part 1 of it will be how to customize your Transformers toy, part 3. So, in this video, we're going to be doing more on painting, and I'm going to do a beginner's ish guide into molding. And we're going to be painting with Nemesis Prime here, and Breakdown here, and then we're going to be molding on Wheeljack. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get into painting, so I'm going to move Wheeljack here for the time being. And what I don't think I've ever done before, I will do now. I will go over some supplies that basically, if you're going to be into customizing Transformers of any type, I think there are some basic materials that you will need to have no matter what. Thing one you need to have is a variety of paintbrushes. No matter what, you want to have a good variety of brushes. You want to have thick brushes like these here. They can get smaller and smaller, and then you can get into smaller brushes like these or these. But if you need a really small brush with a fine tip, you can use something like this. This, or I think I have a couple of these. I have some of these old brushes that I don't use. I don't think I'm going to be throwing them out. I just need to look up a solution or something. But I have a really tiny brush with a really fine tip. This is what I use to paint eyes and headlights and all that. So let's see. For the more tiny brushes, I find that those are going to be the ones that are going to be somewhat expensive. Not too expensive, but definitely more expensive than you going to the store and buying a thing of paintbrushes. Typically, when you go to the store to find paintbrushes, you'll typically find them in a pack. It looks like this. Looks something like this. Usually, it'll be a set of 25. It'll cost you no more than $10, I believe. You can get it at, you can get it at Walmart. You can get it at Michael's, any craft store pretty much. It won't cost you that much. But for the finer brushes here that you're going to be using to paint small things like these headlights up here, they're definitely a necessity, but it will cost you, I will say that. So on from paintbrushes to actual paint. I will say that the type of paint that you use, I found is pretty much dependent upon your experience with paint and what you prefer best. Me, I'm a combination of many things, but I think Tamiya is always my first choice. Tamiya acrylic paints like these. This is an acrylic gunmetal. This is one of their larger things, as they do have two different sizes at the paint store where I go. I use Hobbytown USA. So, and I think acrylics are water-based, I think so. So, whenever you do use paints, no matter what you use, you want to shake them thoroughly, I say for about 10 to 12 seconds, just to make sure it mixes well and you don't get anything wrong. This is Tester's paint. Tester's usually always comes in a small thing like this. The name of the paint will be on the side here, above the barcode. It's like that. And I believe this is acrylic too. No, it's not. It's enamel. See, the type of paint will be here in red on this side of the bottle here. Come on, focus. There we go. See, I got some paint on the side, but it's right there in red. This is enamel paint. I do have some, I think, that are acrylic paints. Nope, that's enamel too. That's enamel too. Come on, Testers, you're making me look bad. That's enamel too. Daggone it. Well, it appears all of my Testers paints are enamel paints, I think. I thought I had some acrylics, but I guess not. But I think the main difference between acrylic and enamel paints is acrylic paints are a lot easier to get off. You can keep a cup of water around while you work and swish your brushes around in that. I find works. You don't really need much. You can use soap if you want to. It's personal preference, but if you're using acrylic paints, a thing of water works just fine. If you use enamel paints, they're going to be a lot harder. It's going to be a lot harder for you to get the paint off. So you're gonna want to have to work in larger sections for enamel paints, and then clean your brush completely after you're done. Because if you have to go back, it's going to be a hassle. I had to find this specific color with Model Master, which I don't normally use. It is an acrylic paint. It's an enamel paint. It says it right here. And it also says it in another language. I don't know what that is. I use this for breakdown here in the back, and as you can see, it turned out well. But there are some things that I will show you guys how to touch up on breakdown here, and we will get to that momentarily. Other than paint, we can move over here. Sandpaper. When I buy sandpaper, they come in really big sheets, and I just cut them down into size. So this sandpaper has lasted me several months, mainly because I haven't been customizing in a while. But once you do that, you can find them at Walmart. Again, Walmart, any hardware store has sandpaper. Any craft store, I believe, also has sandpaper. This sandpaper, I think, is 220 grits, which is very, very fine. So when you do that, when you do use this, it won't, well, sorry. The main idea of using sandpaper is for when you are molding. You can use it for molding. You can also use it to erase any painting mistakes, kind of. If you have an old paint job that you want to get rid of, you can use sandpaper to get rid of it. But if you do that, I think you want to use 720 grit sandpaper, which is very, very hard. And we'll get all of that off. But there you go. There's also Putty. The putty I will be using for molding, which is Loctite Repair Putty. I found this at Walmart. Costs less than $4, I believe. So won't cost you too much. I had to buy it in bulk the last time because it was out of stock the last time I went there. So when they had it, I bought it. Another thing that will do you very well is this here. These are sheets of styrene plastic, and basically how it works is you cut out your shape, and you put it in some hot water for a little while, take it out, and it's a lot harder. I use styrene on Elita 1's head. The shapes on her head, those are styrene. So, yeah, I think that's mostly it for supplies. I think we can start diving right into this now. So we're gonna start with let's see. We're gonna start with breakdown because I still need to figure out what I'm gonna do with Nemesis Prime back there. But for breakdown, there's not much we have to do to him, I don't think. There are just a few areas here, like here on his shoulder. Let me try and focus here. Here on his arm, his leg, that we need to clean up with some paint. I don't think I have any water in this cup, so I do apologize. Do give me one moment while I get a cup of water. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Okay, so I've got my cup of water, and we can start this painting process. Right. So, let's see. First thing we need to do. I'm guessing we can start with the blue. Yes, the blue. Because there are some areas here on his back, on his head, on his shoulders that we need to clean up. So we're going to do that together. I would have done this live, but my computer's acting up, and I don't think you can make live YouTube videos from a mobile device, which I think is dumb. Something YouTube needs to fix. Yes. So break down, you need to stand. Stand, sir. Stand. Good. Stay. So we're going to be using this. So I'm going to shake this up. Hopefully I still have some in here. We can't do this. We can, but, you know, I haven't opened this in a while. That's another thing. When you do use your paints, you want to make sure that the insides of the lids under here, when you open it, you want to keep them clean. You want to use a paper towel and wipe them down, just to make sure you don't have any trouble opening it like I am currently. I haven't used these. I haven't painted anything in a while. Do excuse me. We'll come back to that. We'll move on to something else. Here's something else I will need. This is a NATO black color. It's basically gray. Basically. Which is going to be used here on his shoulders. So, I'll open this up. Do I have any more in here? A little. Yes, we do. Fantastic. Alright. So, we are going to be here a while. Yes, children, yes. So we're going to grab our brush. And I will be doing this on camera, just so you can see. Just a little bit of paint. We're going to come right here on his shoulder and clean this up, just a smidge. I think that's the wrong color. Yes, it is. This is what you get when you don't paint in a while, children. You use the wrong color. It's okay, we'll just go over it very carefully. And if you ever mess up, you can always go over it in another color. There's no big deal with that. And I believe this is acrylic paint, so we can dip this right in the water and keep on going. Just like that. That's for that one. I'll try and focus here. And we'll do this on his other shoulder. Like here. Just like that. Nice and simple. Just like that. I'll also be posting pictures of this final product on my Facebook page, which I'm contemplating doing a live video on. A live video like this, where I can just customize something or edit something on Facebook or even Twitter. I don't even know if you can do that on Twitter. Can you do that on Twitter? I have no idea. But there's that. There's that. Now I'm going to close this color, and we're going to switch to another color. Close this. Water. Swish it around in the water a little bit for a little while, and look. We're back in black. Wipe this off with a paper towel, and we're good to go. So, we're going to move on to Nemesis Prime. And for this one, we're going to need a bigger brush. So I'm going to select this one out of my armory. This one here. We're going to use this brush to, let's see. We need to redo the silver here. So we're going to go over this and the front again. Because we have to. I think I was using this. Let's see what the color this is. Let's see. This is metallic silver, and I don't think we need metallic silver. We just need a bland silver. So let's see. I'm looking over here on my right side into a bin full of paints. I guess I can show you guys. It's no big deal. Just like that. These are all my paints. I don't have much. I don't need much. Just enough to get the job done. You know? You buy what you need. If you don't need it, don't buy it. While I'm looking for this color, I will say that when you are dealing with white, I find that the color white is something that gives customizers a hard time. I find that if you use something like this, Tamiya acrylic white, it works better if you use a big brush, or if you're working with something small, a small brush. But acrylic paints, I haven't found an enamel white that really works, so do be careful when using the color white. I think I found it. It's this aluminum color. And as you can see when you look inside here, it's not mixed well. So we're going to shake this up. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. This video is going to be over 30 minutes long. I can tell already. Because this molding is going to take a minute. That's why I left it for last. Okay, that's enough shaking. We're going to open this up, just like this. And that's our color on the inside. We're going to take a little bit of it. Is this enamel? Yes, it is enamel paint. So we have to do this in one fell swoop. So, we're going to take this, we're going to go over the hood just like this. Just to give it another coat. Because even though I prime this in black, because it's such a light color, it's going to take several coats anyway. So, let's go over this again just like that. And we're going to go over the front again. And again, if you ever mess up, if you ever bleed over onto any other section, don't worry about it. I don't know of any customizer who's got like robot hands, who their strokes are always perfect. So don't stress over it. You can always go back and fix it. Just go over it again. Plus, if it does bleed over, it does help cover up the primer, even though it is black. Just even it over like that. Go underneath here like this. And I think that looks a lot better. I think that's a massive improvement from my last update on that. We'll probably come back to Nemesis Prime at the end, but just to show you guys what you can do with this. I'm going to leave this in the water for a little bit. For the enamel paints, I usually just use soap and water to get the paint out. But now we're going to move on to the molding, which I think is one of the fun parts about customizing. Because with molding, with putty and molding with styrene, you can really change the appearance of a figure. Let's take his swords out because they're going to get in the way. Let's set those over here. Just super glue over here because we won't need that. And we can take his arms off, I think. Can we take his arms off? Can we even put his arms up? Put your arms up. Just like that. The main thing we're going to be doing today with Wheeljack is dealing with the holes in his legs. The holes in his legs. Mainly this hole here and these holes here in his thigh. We're going to be filling those in. Also here in his butt. We will be filling in those holes with putty. And when you open the putty up, let's see, let's get him positioned. Just like that, so I can start talking. When you open the putty up, it's going to look like this. Basically how it works is you have this white component on the inside and this blue component. You take a little bit in your hands, you mix it together. I can do that while I'm talking, because I'm going to need some. Just a little bit, just to show you. Put that down. Once I start mixing this together, it's generally to mix it together so that you can mold with it. And once it's in place, it dries. You can paint over it, and it looks just like plastic. The thing is, once you do mix this together, you have to work very quickly with it because it'll dry in about 2-3 minutes, 3-4 minutes, maybe 5 max. 5 max. You probably have about 5 minutes. But yeah, just get this around in your hands, just like Play-Doh or clay or whatever. You will have to wash your hands as it does get on your fingers, as you should always wash your hands. But let's just mix this together a little bit more.